you very much. Dr. Lazanik, thank you, Alan Schultz. We would like to ask you that if you did like what you saw today and would like to continue in this venue, these events are fairly costly. If you like what you see, you can go to the DPA website and make some donations, and we'll keep it coming for you. We would also like to have a few closing remarks by DPA Founder Tim Caplinger, and if you have any questions about DPA in particular, we could take those requests. Tim, thanks.
Well, I just have to say thank you once again to Bill and Ellen for their outstanding presentations. They were jaw-dropping. So thank you guys once again. You know, DPA has just demonstrated how a member-driven organization can serve its members by investing some of the income that we get in dues in expert advice. We need to thank all of the Delta pilots who donated money to make this event possible. It was $26,500 to make this happen. And I think we put some things into the record for historical purposes that will be valuable into the future. So thank you to those of you who did donate to make this happen. Just imagine what it could be like if you gave your bargaining agent the opportunity to provide these resources on a higher level with more income. So I'd encourage you to, if you haven't considered DPA before, perhaps this event might change your mind, and I'd ask you to sign an authorization card so that we could have a vote here and give you the wheel. We can run your mandate. We'll bring in the experts to find out if your mandate has merit, and once that information is presented, then we pursue it as a bargaining agent. To me, that's the way a member-driven organization really runs. At this point, there may be some questions that some of you have directly about DPA. I'll be happy to entertain them. Unfortunately for the online folks, we've shut that questioning service down, so those of you here in the audience, if you have any questions at all, I'll be happy to entertain them.
For just a second, briefly about how we present ourselves with the DPA drive. And I just want to encourage myself, number one, because I'm very passionate very often on chit chat and Facebook, to rein it in, because a lot of the guys I fly with, if the name is mentioned, if the letters are mentioned, it's kind of on a lunatic fringe sort of basis. I believe this kind of venue and presentation that we just saw can go leaps and bounds to change that viewpoint. So I would just say, when you're talking to individuals, try and really rein in your passion if you can, and proceed in a very business-like manner, because the more and more I got involved last summer after I saw that TA debacle, and tried to really change ALPA from within, like they always said, if you don't like it, change it. Well, as I got deeper and deeper involved in it, I realized it's just impossible. The Constitution of ALPA doesn't really allow that, at least not at Delta ALPA. So I do like the fact that the DPA's got a brand new look at a Constitution. That's going to be the driving force. And when I talk to guys, I mentioned, hey, the difference is, they say, well, it'll be the same guys running it. Well, the difference is the Constitution. The Constitution is going to drive it all. So I do appreciate it, and that's just my thoughts on it.
Thank you. Next question.
Call it a State of the Union type thing, or just a summary of, where we, because people say, they've been around forever. They're not, where are we? Membership, is it still growing? What influences? I know we had several folks that are DPA that are now on the ALPA, MECs or LEC type thing. Some sort of a news of where things are in general. Mm-hmm. And I know some of it's going to be off the top of your head and et cetera, but I understand.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So the question is, what's the current state of affairs with DPA, and how's the growth coming? You kind of have to go back to contract the 2015's first attempt, and that certainly created a groundswell of interest in DPA, and we grew at that time to somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,800 members. Once the contract was rejected, unfortunately, members shifted their attention from growing the DPA membership base to where we could have a vote to recalling the current reps. And that took a lot of energy out of the membership. And so we basically stalled out for a period. We began to see more of our cards expire. We need roughly 6,700 cards to file. We have, as of today, 6,265 cards. So you can see we're just several hundred cards away from being able to file. Now, of those cards, there are approximately half that are expired, okay? And the process of renewing those cards is an ongoing issue. They're only good for 1 year, and it's part of the toil of this position is to encourage folks to renew their cards so that we can qualify for a vote. I'm hopeful that this seminar will provide folks with motivation to see the value in what we're doing. You know, at the end of the day, my position as founder is simply a facilitator to allow a vote to occur, to create a vote, at which point the reins will be handed over to a newly elected DPA president, and I will return to my family. So it's been almost 7 years now of effort, and I believe that contract negotiations that are ongoing are definitely affecting the groundswell of interest in DPA. Folks are not accepting concessions, and they want restoration. I encourage you to grab one of our wristbands on the way out that does delineate that restoration with no concessions. That mandate came from our DPA open surveys with published results. We like to see the member mandate published so we all have a mark to pursue. We want to plant a flag and have a goal that's reachable and be able to fight for something. If you just say advance the profession, you really aren't setting a goal that we can understand. We can't grade that as a member. When you say restore the profession, that is definable. And I believe that the members are seeing currently a lack of desire to restore. They seem to be, the current bargaining agent apparently is still interested in more concessions and allowing management to continue to degrade our quality of life and not seek those values that the company really needs to survive and become a force in the future. We're going to lose more pilots to those companies that do have retirements as they consider whether to hire on at Delta. And then the future, the pilots that are currently here, we need new hires coming in to make Delta successful. And we need to support our pensions one day, our benefits one day. So Delta needs to attract and retain people. So they're going to have to come to market rates. And I see that the current groundswell of interest in DPA is going to get us in a position, I believe, where we will be able to file very soon. I'm seeing a nice fat mailbox every day, and I ask each member to do their part. Just keeping your own card is not good enough. Your own card current is excellent. I need you to go get 5 or 10 or 15 cards from the people around you. Just the people in this room. Do the multiplication. You take 50 people and each get 5 and try to do that a couple of times. Boom, we're filing. So it's going to take you. I can't do it. All right. It takes each individual member's effort, and I do believe we have a nice opportunity here to actually achieve that goal. We got time for okay. Go ahead. Yeah, please.
Real quick question. A question I get in the cockpit very often about DPA is, okay, we're in the middle of negotiations, blah, 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 worried about extending things out years. Once we got a vote and we pass the vote and we get DPA in with all the various committees and whatnot that are necessary in any CBA, how long do you envision that whole process to really be up and running to where we can use that CBA effectively?
Yeah, thank you. That's a fantastic question that I get commonly. So here's a quick timeline. Once we have the cards, I'll take a backpack with 5 shoe boxes up to DC and drop it on the NMB's desk. 2 weeks later, they will take the cards that are in that box and compare it to sample signatures and the pilot list that Delta provides them. About 2 weeks after that, they will declare whether or not we have qualified for a vote. At that point, somewhere in that range, they will have sent Delta a wire that says there's a dispute on the property, and we will have access to the pilots and be able to do whatever ALPA's doing to reach out and make our case. Unfortunately, they're also immediately going to start a vote. And that vote will come from a letter to your home telling you that there's an online voting process available to you, or you can return the vote by mail. That's a 4 to 5 week process. And so we're looking at about 8 to 10 weeks until the vote is tallied. When the vote is tallied, assuming that DPA wins, ALPA's forbidden from that point forward from talking to the company, and only DPA is authorized. There is no appeal process. There is no legal battle. It's just a simple process described by the N&B representation manual. At that point, once we win, then we will probably have a pretty nice celebration, I would imagine, but we're going to have our first election within 30 days. All right, so we're going to allow you to elect your own president for the first time. You've never voted for an MEC chairman or a national president. You get to vote this time. You're going to select your seniority block representatives. Many of you are unfamiliar with that. That is one of the gold mines in the DPA Constitution. 8 blocks of 1,500 to 2,000 pilots each, from each seniority level. So the junior folks will get 2 reps out of their seniority all the way to the senior folks. So everyone has an equal voice at the table, and we can then begin to pursue the mandate. The election will take 30 days to initiate, and probably 15 to 30 days to complete. You'll get video clips of candidates, you'll get bios, you'll see statements of intent and resumes from all candidates, and you'll be able to vote online. You'll also be able to recall them online. That's a feature that DPA offers that's innovative in the industry, open recall system. So once we have our first election complete, the elected reps will be handed the professional negotiators and contract lawyers that we have already vetted, and they will then get to choose from either that slate or any of the other hundreds of professionals that are available out there. And our first open survey will be run by the newly elected reps immediately. So I would say, realistically, the newly elected reps with professional negotiators with a pilot mandate from an open survey will be roughly 3 months after we're elected. So I'm going to put it at 5 to 6 months total from the time you authorize us to get started by giving us enough cards that we will be at the table ready to do business. And folks will say, well, what happens to the contract in the meantime? Nothing. It stays exactly where it sits. We inherit the contract as it sits. We pick up the timeline where it is, and we get to present a new platform to the company, and what's been presented to the company in the past and to the NMB is no longer relevant when you change bargaining agents. So if you're not satisfied with the current platform, you've got a way to change it. You just got to make the move. So I'd like to thank everyone who came today despite the traffic jams in the sky and the rain on the ground. Your attendance was critical to making this happen. My thanks go to you. I hope you all have a safe trip home. Thank you.